All right, let's actually give it a try to Chennai scenario. Pull a rabbit from a hat. This is a pro level scenario. It's a hard scenario that requires pro account and you need to fix something. Let's actually see what we have here. So we have a rabbitmq cluster defined in a Docker compose YAML file. Bring this system up and then run the producer script in such a way that it's able to send messages to RMQ. You have to send messages, hello LWC. RMQ is a queuing system. Messages are put in the queue with the producer and they're taken out from the other side by consumer. Yeah, so I googled this simple diagram. So publisher source code publishes data messages to a rabbitmq cluster, and this cluster has a queue, message queue, that can provide messages stored to a consumer. Consumer code can be anything. Uh, it could be a group of consumers. It could be some other code. So you can store the same data and give it to different consumers for different use cases. That's the whole idea behind message bus. Uh, yeah, let's actually give it a try. At first, I was excited when I saw this one, but I couldn't solve it myself. So I'm just going to show you quickly how to solve this one. Now actually, let's first look into consumer and producer. So here we have variable user password name. Usually whenever there is a broken web server, some kind of configuration, you have to pay attention to three things: config files, credentials, and port numbers. So here user is username, password is password, queue is hello. Yeah, that's the queue name where we need to send messages. It's using these credentials to connect to a working RabbitMQ cluster. Let's look at producer. So in producer, we actually have it's getting environments from environment variable RMQ user and RMQ password. In case it cannot get those, it's using the default values provided here, guest and guest. That's the first mismatch that I see here. 5672 is the correct port number, and message queue RMQ queue is the queue name. So if it's not provided, it's just gonna be like none, null value, which is not what we want. So I see the first thing, I see the first discrepancy here, right? Yeah. So in the producer, we have the guest. Default values are guest for the RMQ user and RMQ password. That's the first thing that I noticed. Now let's go into RabbitMQ. What do we have here? We have Docker Compose. Let's pay attention. Let's take a look at this RabbitMQ cluster. So this is apparently 3-node cluster and a hub proxy. Yep, this is hub proxy depends on 3 RabbitMQ nodes. In RabbitMQ, one of the nodes has to be the host, so it's apparently RabbitMQ hostname RabbitMQ1 is the host name, and the two others depend on him. See it, we have join cluster host RabbitMQ1. So RabbitMQ1 is basically the master node, and RabbitMQ2 and 3 are the slave nodes that run the operations. There is also the entry point. I don't know, everything seems to be okay for the Docker Compose file. Let's actually try to run it. Now, so we have hub proxy running, RabbitMQ supposedly running. Let's actually look at the hold on. Yeah, so we have, oh, actually, yeah, one of them is down. Yeah, we only have 2 and 1, but the first one is down. Why? Let's see -A. So one of them actually exited. Yeah, exited 20 seconds ago. Why? Why did it exit? It's using command cluster entry point and it actually exited. I don't understand. Master Rabbit MQ11. So here it's a bunch of info messages, some warning, and we have tail cannot open var log rabbit mq log. Application rabbit are running on node, no such file or directory. Okay, based on this input, we know that there is cluster entry point shell. This is the command that's running. So we want to actually pay attention to what's happening in cluster empty points. And here down below we have this tail f. So it's trying to find, it's trying to get the values, the last values from log files, and it's doing so just to keep the foreground process active. You don't actually have to do this. You can just do like sleep infinity to keep it running. And let's run it again. And let's see. So apparently it is running. Yeah, now let's actually try to produce messages. And I forgot to add hello message. I forgot to add the message. So if we're trying to produce a message, it's giving us incompatible protocol error, something wrong. It cannot create connection, Pika connection parameters. So something wrong with authentication, probably it's blocking connection. Okay, it's blocking connection because of what? Probably because of the same thing that I mentioned, right? It's using wrong credentials. Here it's using guest, and here it's using guest as the credential. So if we don't provide, it's trying to connect using guest and guest, user and password. But the consumer is using a different set of credentials. It's using username and password. But because we cannot change the consumer and producer files, we cannot directly change them. We have to use something like uh like variable names, right? So we will have to run the producer and consumer with variables. Let's actually check the hub proxy just to see if there is any rules that affect here. I'm actually going to look for reject. I don't see any reject rules. Listen, rabbitmq. Here it's yeah, I think this one is working just fine. Now everything's fine with hub proxy. Yeah, this Pika library cannot connect because of the connection parameters and plain credentials, right? We're using just user and password, no any hashes here. Yeah, establish a connection. That's where it fails, blocking connection. It's failing because it cannot connect. So probably yeah, here rabbitmq default user default pass. These are the values that we should define. These are the values that we should define probably, yeah. It's using this default user default pass. And we have to give it to them. So username. And now if we try to hold on, how do they actually call them? Let me actually look into this. So here it's yeah, RMQ user, RMQ password, and RMQ queue. Username, RMQ password. It is hello because it's the same in the consumer, right? Remember we cannot modify the source code. So producer hello LEC. And it's not working. I should probably access refused. User authentication mechanism. I should probably restart the. Yeah, I should probably. Let me actually restart the whole Docker cluster. Yeah, if we restart the entire, usually in cases like this, we want to restart the entire Docker cluster, and then I'm gonna try to send messages again. Uh, Dash D stands for detached. Let's actually check the Docker PS. Yeah, it's running. It's not working again. Consumer username password q is hello. Q hello username. Let's actually look up the clues, to be honest. I think, yeah, so we checked the Docker logs, var log rabbitmq. We changed the to sleep infinity. So we're getting authentication issue, yeah. And there's hard-coded values provided, and yeah, I think I'm doing it correctly, no? RabbitMQ default pass. Maybe there's some kind of typo here, no? Let's run it again, and let's run the whole thing again. Yeah, message sent to RabbitMQ. Yeah, so if the message is sent, then we can probably consume same message. Hello LWC. Yep, the message that we sent, we consume. Now, if we try to do it again, there is no message in the queue because the message is only retrievable once. This is the feature of RabbitMQ cluster. There is another message bus that's called Apache Kafka, and Apache Kafka stores messages indefinitely or however you specify. Just a side note, right? So RabbitMQ, once the message is consumed, it's consumed and deleted from the message bus. So you have to send it again. So if I try to send a different message, let's say different message, it is sent, it is stored, and now I'm consuming it, and now it's gone. Now if I try to do it again, hello LWC, let's see if I consume it. Now let's actually try the check my solution, and it's not working. Why? Oh, it's not working because the test must return. So it's actually running the test. I don't want to consume myself. I just want to send the message. So let me actually send the message. The message is there. And when I press on check my solution, it actually checks and returns, right? So I don't want to consume myself. Yeah, working nicely. 13 minutes. Yeah, so I hope I explained it in great detail so that now you understand fully this machine. You understand this lab and you understand how it works. And you even understand how the actual automated check is run here.